Okay, guys, let me start our event for tonight. So, good evening, everyone, and welcome to today's online talk show, Vision Utopia. So, get to know me. I'm Selika Go, and then you can just call me Lika, and I'll be your MC to guide this event tonight. So, before I explain you a few rules, but it's actually not really a rules for today's online talk show, let me just briefly tell you about Vision Utopia. So it's actually an event which is organized by the Omega Leo Club of Xiamen University, Malaysia, to raise funds from pickup donation. So we are very grateful that we had collected 1,600 ringgit, which has been donated to the MAB. MAB is Malaysian Association for the Blinds. And also, as the purpose of this event is also to raise the public awareness about the importance of our eyes and how to protect them. So for that, today we are very pleased to have our special speaker today, Dr. Aslam Muhammad Sazat. So you might wondering who is this person exactly? He's actually right beside me, as you can see. Okay, so let me just give you a little bit clue about himself. So he is one of Xiamen University lecturers and currently teaching in traditional Chinese medicine. And then he also like teaching other GE also. So you guys know him first? Okay, so he had completed his PhD from University Malaysia Perlis or UNIMAP, and also Master of Philosophy from Bahauddin Zakaria University, Pakistan, and also had completed his study in Bakai Medical University, again in Pakistan, guys, for his Doctor of Pharmacy degree. So as you can see, it was like an amazing achievement, and we can see how experienced he is. And tonight he is going to share with us the ways to take care our eyes and how to avoid the causes of eyes problem. So make sure you really listen carefully until the end and get the knowledge as much as you can, because later on at the end of this event we will also have a giveaway session in which like all of you are encouraged to join us. It's just like very simple, guys. You just listen like really carefully, and then later you guys answer 5 questions from us, and then each of you will get 40 ringgit. That was very amazing, right, guys? So there's going to be a lot of fun for us with us tonight. So make sure that you stay tuned with us until the end of this event. So, as I've said before, there are a few rules that you guys need to follow up, but it's actually not really a rules. It's just like things that you guys have to know. So right now we are using Demio as our media, and would like to say thank you very much for Dr. Aslam who has sponsored this media for us to manage it and then run this event. Thank you so much, Doctor. And then in Demio is like you cannot open your mic or camera. You just unless you get the permission from the host, but you don't need to do so, and just stay with us until the end. And if you guys have any questions, just freely type it in the chat box here. And then, okay, without any further ado, I like to kick things off by welcoming our organizing chairperson of this event, Elisa Ali, to deliver her welcoming speech. Elisa, over it to you.
Okay, so hello, good evening, everybody. Okay, hello, good evening, everybody. This won't be a long speech because I know you guys will be bored if I talk too much. So first of all, I just want to thank God that this event can be held today. Second thing, I want to thank Dr. Aslam to spend literally this one whole day just for this event and for prepare everything for us. Thank you so much. And not to forget to thank all the committees and everyone and the MC, Selika Go, and everyone who spent their time today to join this event. I hope you guys can enjoy this event and get a benefit from following this event. The gift of the gift for the giveaway are all sponsored by Bakute, Saha Associations, and Lion Lee. So this event is made for increased awareness of eyes health and to raise a donation for the Malaysia Association for the Blind. So if you guys want to share some love or donate to the Malaysia Associations for the Blind, you can directly message me. My phone number is on the poster. Okay, that's all from me, guys. Thank you. I hope you guys enjoy the event.
Thank you so much, Elisa, for the welcoming speech. So next, we would like to hear some words from the president of Malaysian Association for the Blinds, or MAB, Mr. George. But unfortunately, guys, he's not able to join with us tonight. But there is a pre-record video of his speech. So let me roll the clip. Wait a minute.
We'd like to thank the Ziawan University to collaborate with the Malaysian Association for the Blind to raise funds so that we are able to extend our services and activities to the blind community in Malaysia. As you know, blindness, majority of the blindness caused in Malaysia is because of cataract, untreated cataract. But there's a growing number of blindness caused due to diseases like retinopathy, diabetic retinopathy, and glaucoma. And we would like to appeal to the public to have your eyes tested frequently to avoid such diseases. At the same time, we also like the public to donate so that we can extend our services and reach out to more blind people in Malaysia to educate, to rehabilitate, and give them a better quality of life. Thank you.
Okay, that's all from Mr. George's speeches. He like to thank us for our donation. And then let's not talk too much, guys. I think now it's like the sharing station that we've been waiting for from our speaker today. So let's welcome Dr. Aslam Muhammad Sadat. The time is yours, Doctor.
Thank you so much for to invite me to this event. And you already introduced to me about me and my credentials. I did my PhD from Malaysia and then my graduation and master's from Pakistan. And I have published more than 80 articles, research articles in international peer-reviewed journals. Right now, I'm working as a lecturer in School of Traditional Chinese Medicine in Western Medicine department, where I'm teaching pharmacology, pathology, and drug society and human behavior. And currently, I'm actively doing lots of research projects. Actually, I'm also interested to contribute in this event because diabetic eye diseases and diabetic retinopathy or hypertensive diseases are very, unfortunately, is increasing day by day. And do you know, in Malaysia, especially, that there is an increase of diabetes nowadays. From the past 5 years, the diabetes ratio is now, we can say that now doubled. And it may kept increasing maybe with the passage of time till 2030. And the reason behind that problem is why? Because of the lifestyle or food we take, or sometimes there are multiple reasons. Stress is one of the factors that is responsible for that disease. And then the diabetes is actually linked to multiple diseases. Among them, diabetic eye disease is one of the diseases that can affect humans. And that's why the message from the person, the head of that association, they are talking about that increase of the prevalence of diabetic eye diseases, and is why? Because of the lifestyle. So the main thing is that we need to see that how it affects us and how can we improve it. And I have prepared a brief presentation on the topic, and let's discuss that one by one, that why this topic is important. And I bring some statistics, and plus I bring some information to share with you. So let me share the presentation with you, and then we will start it. Or if, for example, the administrator, you can please turn on and start the presentation. You can start the presentation, and then we can see the why this is even and why the diabetes eye disease is very important. So please start with the initially. So the topic that we are going to discuss is ocular complication of diabetes and hypertension. I am going to address both the disease at the same time to understand this thing. So number one thing, the question that I will ask from you that first let's ask this question that how many people actually went for your eye checkup? So if I ask this question that how many people actually went for the eye checkup? Maybe I think so we can see that I'm looking the stats and the people are giving me the answer that I think never. We have now currently answering people that never, they never went for it. Only one person is mentioned. It's very few. If I'm taking your all attendance and I'm looking it, and then if I see your answer still now, the total answer that has been given to me is, you can see that most of the people have never actually went for the eye checkup, and we have some people that we see that now there are some people that are going for some eye checkup. So the main thing is that if you don't know and you don't visit to the near eye specialist, how can you know the problem? So the main problem lies with that people don't went to see the doctor and they don't go and they are not aware of the fact that they are suffering from eye complications. The second thing, the main problem with diabetes, especially diabetes is actually a silent killer. Do you know this? Diabetes is actually a silent killer because you may not aware that you are diabetic, and suddenly at some time of your life you get to know that you are diabetic. So there are two type of diabetes actually. I'm not going to go for the complications or complex terms because in our audience we have people from different departments. We have type 1 diabetes and type 2 diabetes. Type 1 diabetes, usually we have juvenile diabetes, which occur usually at young age, and it is linked to inheritance or genetics. And there is no treatment regarding that except we can manage it with the external insulin that has been given. But now you are asking what is insulin? I think you are not aware of the insulin that actually when diabetes occur, there will be hyperglycemia. What is meant by hyperglycemia? That there will be increase of the glucose level in the blood. And what happening that there will be not sufficient insulin in the body, that insulin which will be produced from the pancreas in the body. And as a result, what happened then when there is insufficient insulin, then it results in diabetes. So you have to understand that the problem lies with that people are not aware that they are diabetic, and unless they just get diabetic, and then when they get diabetic, then you need to manage the disease. So the problem is that there are two types. One is type 1 diabetes, and the second one is type 2 diabetes, which occurs with the passage of time. Maybe obviously the students that we have in Jammu University, they are very young, and they think they obviously their lifestyle is they don't need right now. But the thing is that if, for example, some people, students, they can be diabetic with type 1 diabetes if they are inherited from their family. So you must check your eyes at least 2 times in a year, at least just for regular checkup to check whether your eyes is okay and normal. Because for type 2 diabetes, it's occur with the lifestyle and the food that you take. And the type 2 diabetes, actually, people are not aware of that. And suddenly it gets diabetes. I tell you a very interesting thing, like, for example, I'm not going to mention the name of that lecturer. There is one lecturer that in German University, I will not mention the name, that yesterday I met him, and he tell me that he has been now pre-diabetic. He is not aware that he is diabetic, and yesterday he went to the clinic and in Germany, and then suddenly the doctor tells him that he is now borderline diabetic. It means that what is meant by borderline, that if he does not control, then he may become diabetic. And he is very well-known professor in Savanasi. I will not mention the name, but you can see that people, if they don't know that they are diabetic, so it means that they are not getting diabetes, but the plus they affecting your eyes as well. So first thing is that we need to manage our sugar level. The most important thing is the sugar level. Obviously, you eat bread, you eat cakes, you eat all bakery products. Do you think it is good for your health? I don't think so. Even I'm reading our previous Prime Minister in Malaysia, Tun Mahathir Mohamad, and I'm just telling him his story that one person from journalism, he asked that, what is the secret of your life? Why, I mean, obviously he's 96 plus and he's still living a healthy life. So what is the secret of his healthy life? So Mahathir Mohamad, he has said that if, for example, I eat anything that is sweet in taste or good in taste, he don't eat it. So what is the meaning of that? It means that anything, for example, the taste that is very good, very enjoyable or pleasant, and if you eat them, so it means that it may contain some sugar content. So from his interview to one journalist, when he said this thing, then we realized, or I realized that, the things that we usually eat in our daily life contain a lot of sugar. And even we are not aware of the lot of things that we eat the food. For example, we go to bakery randomly and we eat the stuff over there. Most of them are processed. So processed food or processed sugar or the things that in the bakery there are not good for the health. And I tell you honestly, even still, obviously, I know that I am teaching you a good thing. I also eat, I also go to the bakery, but from the past few years, I have reduced my traveling, or you reduce my visit to the bakery after I know that these things are not good, but still, we are the human beings. The thing that we like it, we attract to go to that place. Everybody know that you went to the bakery, you have a wonderful list of the bakery items. You have lot of sandwiches, you lot of the things you have, and maybe you cannot able to resist not to go there, right? And everybody wants to go because the taste is so delicious. But do you think that why the taste of them are so good? You have to understand that I'm not talking about the health, I'm talking about the human nature, I'm talking about people that are selling them, they make it so attractive for you, for us to become addicted or dependent on them. It's not about drugs that do you get addicted. Maybe you think that whether it is a drug. No, it is not a drug, but it makes you dependable so much that you're unable to resist. Like for example, I'm the part of that society. I'm not denying that I don't go to the KFC, or I don't go to the pizza shop, or I don't go to the bakery. Yes, I reduce my traveling and reduce my occasional movement now. I'm not going much to the bakery. I stop now a little bit. I'm reducing it unless I need an emergency. Same like the bakery. Uh, Previously, I went quite often. Now I'm reducing it. So for you as well, you have to understand that the bakery items, the processed items, and the processed meat are another causative agent that can cause diabetes. These all items are not good for the health. They taste is nice. Their taste is good. You feel quite, you can say that happy. You feel happy, but obviously with the passage of time, if you don't do exercise and you stay at home, then it affects your body, and it can damage it because it can increase your blood glucose level. So the most important thing, number one, is that you have to be very careful, especially with the bakery items. I'm and processed meat, but I'm not saying not to go. You can eat it, but eat it with responsibility. The second thing that is very important, that when you talk about diabetes, that uh, this the important thing which I learned from the time with the pesticides, and no textbook will tell you this. The textbooks are only meant to tell you, you can say the textbook knowledge or conventional knowledge. But from my experience, what I learn and what I understand, you have to understand the role of insulin. You have to understand when you eat the food, the insulin level rises. You have to understand that insulin is very important and play an important role in your body metabolism. So whenever you eat the food, the insulin will rise, and because of the blood glucose level increases, and then insulin try to decrease it. But the important thing is that the main important thing is that I understand that try to take food. For example, people say that take the food at small intervals 4 times in a day. I am against of this opinion. My opinion is a little bit different from that. I believe that I think we need to take 2 times of food for whole day rather than we take 4 times or 5 times of meal, small packets, because I feel, this is my opinion, that if we take more small meals, small amount of meals in a time, then it will trigger every time insulin. Every time you take some food, it trigger insulin to release. So what happens when you take the food quite often? Like for example, I know the students are very crazy about the snacks, like the chips or other snacks, and they regularly keep taking it without, they're not taking proper food. Instead, they are not taking food; they are taking this junk, and they are taking in a small portion, maybe 5 times, 4 times. And what happened with their constituents, that it affects them. My opinion is slightly different. I believe that I think we must need to take a complete meal 2 times in a day rather than we take 4 or 5 times in a small pocket, because every time it triggers insulin, and then what happens, it triggers insulin again and again and again. With the passage of time, it causes your body to become resistant. So this is another cause of diabetes, that people get resistant with the insulin that is producing, and that they are not producing the effect. So that's why I believe that I think we must take, if we need to take 2 times a complete meal rather than we take the junk. Second thing is that we don't need to, I'm not saying that not to take it, because I know you are quite young and you have quite, but obviously you are still maybe 18, 19, 20, your age is not too much, but you can take it, no problem with that. But think about the future. The second thing is that if, for example, in case you are taking a lot of food, like a lot of junk food, try to burn it. And you need to do exercise, so that after doing exercise, you burn it down, and so that you keep consuming it. If your body is not consuming it, what happening that what you're eating is converting into fat, and then it may you are not doing exercise maybe, and then that result in increase of your body contain more fat inside the body, and it is not going to burn it down. And when it is not going to burn it down, then it's affect, because you have to understand, keep in mind that the instant source of energy is carbohydrate. For example, when you get hungry, if you go to eat rice, or you eat for roti chennai, so they are instant source of carbohydrate, and you get the energy. But then the first, this is the first source of energy. Then the second source of energy is fat. Then which is a delay. Then the last, which is delayed form, is the protein. So you have to understand that we have these 3 main sources of energy. And for example, if this is my opinion, that if you take two times food, and you make it like an intermittent fasting, like 16 into 8. This is a calculated 16 hours of one meal, and then 8 hours of that meal. Then what your body will get, it not only consume carbohydrate, but it usually take your fat, and they burn your calories and burn your fat as well. So with the passage of time, if you continue to maintain it, and then I'm not going for the ketogenic diet, because this is another issue, and I discussed in my last webinar. I already have done on it. That's another issue, but I'm not going for that. But I'm talking about that. If, for example, you are taking junk food, or you are taking processed meat or processed food, first I said that try to avoid it. But if you don't avoid, then please do regular exercise, and that exercise is very important for you to maintain your healthy lifestyle. And then if, for example, you want to take food, I suggest to take 2 times food in a day rather than 4 times or 5 times. And then burn it, exercise, activities, try to do play sports on regular occasion, and so that it will help you. And if you see, if I tell you one example, like what happened in the pandemic, Like people, students, I saw yesterday now some of my students, I was very surprised. They look very different because what has happened, that pandemic has affected everybody, and now because they are staying at home, they are not doing exercise, some are become more very healthy, quite healthier. So the impact of coronavirus is like one of the negative consequences that we staying at home for so long that we are forgot the exercise and activities. Because for example, for me, like I do used to teach a lot, so I burn my energy in my classroom. Even it affects me as well as. So you have to understand that even coronavirus has affected badly. That's why one of the professors that I was talking about, maybe he was staying at home so long that he unable to do exercise, and then suddenly he found that he is pre-diabetic. He's just like on a borderline. So what has happened, and now he is very careful and he contacts me and I give him some advice. So you have to understand that this is very important for you, and this topic is about the complications of diabetes, because diabetes, I'm telling you, I'm just showing you statistics in next slide, that how it affects. So it is very important. My first slide is too long that the administrator is tired now. So the slide talking about my glasses, I can't see without glasses. Do you want to become like that? Are you interested to become like that? That if you have to understand that this is a so big problem that people, if you cannot see without your eyes, what happened to you? Think about that. Do you want to become like this character? This is one of my favorite characters. When I was in my childhood, and Scooby Dooby Doo, I used to watch it a lot. And this is my one of, obviously this is not this, but there are so many characters in this story. So I don't think so that you want to become like this, right? So your eyes are very important because you are the younger generation and you have to do many things in your life, and we want to build a healthier family with healthy people living in an healthy environment. But let me show you next slide and you will get scared what has happened. Show the next slide, please. Next slide. So our eyes are important. They are our mention. I mentioned here that we have used to it the whole world. I tell you one interesting example of another thing that I want to tell you, that why eyes are important. Eyes are not only important for the normal person like us, but they are important for everybody, for people that want to explore the world, they want to see the colors, different colors and their combination. For example, I tell you interesting fact that there are different drugs in surrounding. We have different type of drugs, but there are some drugs that people used to take it just to experience the visions. Drugs also are very important and they affect your vision. They change the perception of the vision, or they can change it. So everyone is very curious about the colors, the life, how the life becomes, what are the vision, the colors. If you see on my background, like you see my background, you are actually seeing a beautiful greenery. And I tell you, interesting thing is that one of the key thing that I remember in my childhood, my parents have said to me that whenever you come and you wake up early in the morning, please look greenery. Why? Because the green color, if you see in the morning, just wake up and see a greenery, it improves your eye, it improves your vision, it gives you a rejuvenate, a refreshing feeling. That's why my background like this, the greenery. So that gives your eyes a good look. So you have to understand that the colors are very important part in our life, whether we are normal or people that are taking drugs. For example, I'm telling you that there are some psychoactive drugs. If you are in my GE courses, I am teaching it, and I tell that drugs also have an impact on the vision. Some people that are addicted or dependent to the drugs, they take some psychoactive drugs like LSD, if you are familiar with this name. They use to change the color visions. So some people that are addicted to these drugs, they sometimes take the drugs only to see the visual anomalies or visual changes, the colors, the changes. If you see, for example, I tell you, whenever you watch any movie, or for example, you watch any video of any music record, what you see the most, you see different color combinations. Why the videos are making so colorful? Let me ask this question. Did you ever realize? Because the colors give you attractiveness. They want that everybody watch these videos. They get more views. So they make it sometimes so colorful. The colors, contrast, the background are so attractive that even the sound is not even it is good. People still watch it just for the visual. So you have to imagine that the colors, the life is with colors. And imagine that if you don't realize that the colors are going to diminish with the time, if you don't take care of it, if you don't visit the clinic or hospital for your regular eye visit, what happened that you mentioned in my slide that 70% of adults report that loss of eyesight will be greater impact in their everyday. So what it meant by that the life is with the colors. Without the colors, you cannot imagine the life there. So for example, the people that don't have eyes, or they lost their eyes, or maybe they are genetically, or they are color blind, for example, feel their life, that how they feel their life without the colors. They cannot imagine it, that they cannot see the beauty of the life and the colors with that. So that is very, very important. And unfortunately, that we never focus on our eyes. We never. That's why I mentioned our eyes never being the priority. Why never being priority? Because we cannot see it. What the changes going on? You may not realize. And then what happens that suddenly your eyes get lost. Because, for example, I tell you one example that if, for example, you feel headache? So another thing is that headache, for example, if someone has one-time headache, occasional, it's okay, it's fine. Maybe it's because of stress. But if someone have headache for longer duration, maybe the headache is due to eye disorder or eye disease, maybe because you're unable to observe the change in your eyes. The other diseases, we can know that okay, we have this disease. If you, for example, suddenly accidentally damage your finger or anything that happens, any trauma, you can feel it. But what about eyes? Will you able to realize that? Maybe you're unable to realize that you are having some disease. And second, I already mentioned, you will not realize that you are diabetic and you are going to suffer with that with the passage of time. And that is why the eye and then secondly the diabetes both are as the disease, the eye related to disease, you're not aware of that, and diabetes you are not aware. And that's why we neglect that. And then if we neglect something, the gift from the mankind, we cannot, we may be ignoring a bigger thing. So you have to understand that this is very important. So next slide, please. The slide which is talking about the alarming statistics. This is very alarming that I am talking about. If you read that slide, I'm going to read it. Number one, an estimated 61 million adults in the US are at high risk of serious vision loss. Why I mention US statistics? Because this is a baseline statistic. There is not, I tell you interesting fact that there is no clear literature available for Malaysia. We have not yet much clear status of Malaysia, that how many people are at high risk. So I'm quoting the US, which is a baseline, that 51 million are at high risk for vision loss. Imagine that, and all the statistics that I mentioned here has been cited. It's a scientific evidence. I'm not giving you a layman evidence without anything. No, my all evidence has been statistically proven with peer-reviewed articles. So you can see that this is the serious problem. If this is a big problem in the US, we have to be very careful that what is in Malaysia, what could be in Malaysia. This is actually a research topic. This could be a good topic for the people, for you, that you can do research on it. We don't have the clear information about how many people are at high risk for serious vision loss. Then the second point, about 10% of adults have never had an eye examination. Imagine that, you, if for example, I see the question that I put, how many of you went for an eye checkup? I have answers on never. 28% has mentioned never, but we still have answers on 39% that they went for 4 times. So it means that we have people that never went, we have people that only went to one time. And if we compare with, for example, we merge the statistics from never and one time, it means that it is in the dominant characteristic that people never went in. And if you see that, I mentioned here the statistics, 10% of adults has never went an eye exam. So if you never went for an eye exam, how can you know or you understand about that? You never know that you have affected or not. You are affected. Then 60% say it because they don't think they have an eye problem. Again, this is another thing. Sometimes people think that they don't have any problem. They don't think that eye is a problem because I already mentioned that you never realize that you have a problem. Because, for example, if you are feeling headache, maybe for 1 month, 2 months, then you think to go for an eye checkup. Because this is one of the indicators when you feel headache, then you go for that. Usually people don't go for that. Diabetes is another disease. I already mentioned that, people don't think it unless you get diabetic or pre-diabetic. Now, the most alarming thing which I mentioned on the left side is the current prevalence of diabetes mellitus. DM stands for diabetes mellitus in Malaysia, which I already mentioned in the beginning. 2015 figures we have. We don't have updated figures. The figures right now is, currently is 17.5 and doubled since 1996. Imagine that the diabetes has been doubled in Malaysia since 1996 from now 17.5. And actually, I'm reading more such article on that, and it's still increasing. The current figure is going to become is around 22%. I'm telling you. I think right now is around 22%, but they are still there doing the research. And to think about that this is so big problem. And then the next point is mentioned that about hypertension, HTN stands for hypertension. In Malaysia, increased, alarming, you can see 32% from 1996 to 2011. We still don't have statistics about that. Think the diabetes now increasing, doubling, and then the HTN is increasing. So how can you expect what will be the future of our young generation after maybe you are right now 20 to 25 your age? What happened after that? Did you ever realize that maybe it affects you and later on you don't realize that this is a problem and people don't realize that. Then the last statistic that I put is patient with diabetes affected with DED, diabetic eye disease. DED stands for diabetic eye disease. In Europe will increase from 6.4 million today to 8.6 million in 2050. Now, this is the statistics from the Europe. We don't have statistics from Malaysia. And so that's why I put the Europe statistics. So currently you mentioned that now this is very important. Patient with diabetes plus with DED, diabetic eye disease, what it meant by increase in the future from 6.4 million currently, in the future it becomes 8.6 million in 2050. So imagine that the trend towards increase of the DED disease will be increased from 6.4 to 8.6. So what is the statistics? This is alarming. This needs to be done. Everybody needs to take care of eyes. If, for example, your family, I know you are the young people, but you have to be careful about your diet, your eyes, and you have to help your parents or your grandmother, grandfather. You have to, if nobody went for an eye checkup, must go to visit for an eye checkup, just a regular checkup. It's okay, you are fine, you don't have any disease or you are not diabetic, but still you must go for a regular eye checkup just for a look, how your eyes look like, you feel like. And then, for example, your parent, somebody is maybe pre-diabetic, you are not aware of, so the glucose level is very important. So must everybody even go to see your doctor and see at least the sugar level, check for 2 times in a year, at least 2 to 3 times, so that you are aware of that your blood glucose level, the sugar level is normal. These all statistics are that I have given to you. The reference has been given below. You can read that article and you can read it and you can understand that this is an alarming problem. And that's why people are not aware of that fact. Next like? I think your eyes is like this now, right? What does you feel like now? I think if these are statistics give you, and you can say that eye opening, I think, so it gives you what have to think about that. Um, you have to think that this is alarming. Okay, look at, don't let diabetes steal your sight. You know that I already mentioned that, you know, this is a shadow. The shadow is meant for, like, you can see that, you know, you are not, you don't know that you have this problem, right? This is a shadow because the disease is such like that. The disease will not visible till you feel it. And if you don't feel it, then how can you know that this is a problem? And unfortunately, people have that problem. They are not. So you know, how can you know that you are diabetic? This is a question. What are the symptoms? So I give you some symptoms, like, for example, if you have, for example, increased urination. For example, you go for urination late night. If you go quite often at night, especially at night, it is an initial indicator that you may have diabetes. Second thing that is very important, we have to understand about diabetes is that if you drink a lot of water, if you feel like you are thirsty a lot, normal, and you understand that more than normal, then it is a problem. Third thing which is important is the weight loss. If you are losing the weight, sudden weight loss, then it could lead to diabetes. Then the other thing is that hunger. If you feel hungry every time you eat the food, and after eating the food you still feel hungry after few minutes or few hours, then it means that it may sign and symptoms of diabetes. Then fatigue. For example, you are not explaining your activities, you are not running, walking, jogging, or you are feeling tired after doing small work, then it may lead to diabetes. Then the other indicator that you are diabetic is wound healing issue. Suppose, for example, you have a minor cut on your finger. Maybe you are making something, you're chopping, and you have a minor cut, and then your minor cut will not heal faster. Usually, there is a clotting time. What is when the clotting time? The time required to, you can just stop the bleeding. So if your bleeding is not stopped or the wound is not healing properly, then it affects. Then skin problem, then fungal infection, then tiredness, or you can say the numbness in the feet. Your feet become numb, or your toes become numb. So what are these? These all actually are giving you an indicator that you may be diabetic, and you have to understand that these all are symptoms. That's why I'm saying you that I am telling you the things that talking about the diabetes, but the main important thing is that how can you know that you are diabetic? Maybe you are not aware that you are diabetic. So please observe that how much time you go to washroom for urination, especially at night, or you become thirsty more than normal that you are. So that is very important for to know these things. And then fatigue, you suddenly get fatigue, your feet become numb very quickly. So these are the very important indicators that you must know, and we have to be very careful with that. Now, before discussing the eye, you need to see the eye, how it look like. I know you students, most of them are not from medicine department, and I know there are more students from the other department. I'm not going to explain the detail, but I'm just going to tell you the important thing. Number one thing is that the most important part of your eye, which is the most important part, is your retina. If you see, if you see this part, the back of your eye, the front we have, you can see the cornea, and then we have at the back side it is retina. This cornea and retina are the most important part. And if, for example, your retina is not protected, then what will happen then? You know, it affects your vision. And most of the problem related to eye diseases is retina, because what happened that retina is responsible for transmitting or converting your vision into in such a way that it can be able to see, can be seen. So the retina is very important part, and they are connected with your optic nerves, and that optic nerve is then the next most important part, because most of the diseases are linked to the optic nerve diseases, and actually these are the nerves that send the message to the brain, and then that message will be transcribed to see what you can see with your eyes. So I'm not going to explain in detail what I look like, but this look like this. Then what actually happen in diabetes and hypertension? So this is a slide, I make it a complete story of that. For example, when we have a diabetes with, for example, diabetic eye diseases, the main important problem is that your blood vessels. I mentioned you that the optic nerves are important, and we also have the blood vessels, healthy vessels. And what actually happened with diabetes, that because of the high glucose, high sugar level, what happened that the nerves, these healthy blood vessels will be get damaged, and that damage results in the leakage and the fluid leakage. And then that fluid leakage, if you see on the left side, this picture, normal eye compared with the eye retinopathy, you find that these blood vessels are damaged. The darker portion you can see, there is a fluid leakage. And that leakage is because of the high glucose level or high sugar level. And that leakage is responsible to affect your uh, vitreous humor. The vitreous humor is a fluid, is a jelly-like fluid that is present inside your eyeball. That is responsible to protect the retina blood vessels. So what has happened that that it affects because of the high sugar content, and then it affects your eye. This is the DED disease. For example, disease like hypertension, what has happened that there is an increase of the pressure inside the eye. You have to understand that what actually happen in hypertension, that in hypertension there is the vessel constricted, the vessel narrowed down. When the vessels or the blood vessels narrow down, you have to understand, we have eye, we have lacrimal fluid. Why we cry? Why the watery material come out? Do you realize? Do you understand? There is a lacrimal fluid, lacrimal gland that is present inside the eye, and that is responsible to produce the tears that contain salt and water. This is a combination. So what has happened in hypertension, that with the passage of time, the vasoconstriction or the vessel constricts, and because these constricted, then these tears, will not come out. And if they don't come out, what will happen, that it stay inside, and with the passage of time, when it stay inside, it increases, and it increases the pressure inside the eye. And with the increase of the pressure, what has happened, if you see in the next slide, in the next picture, increased pressure, and I mentioned decreased aqueous outflow. What is meant by aqueous? Aqueous means watery content, the tears that don't come out. Because of the constriction, the tears don't come out, and their flow will increase inside the eye. And with passage, it increase inside the eye, it can affect your optic nerve, which I mentioned before in my previous slide. Like this is the optic nerve on the back side. So if you see this picture, you can see this on the left side. This is aqueous humor, this blue color. So this aqueous humor is actually the tears, the watery material that is present inside the eye. But what has happened with the passage of time, that watery material increases, and it increases the pressure inside the eye, and as a result, because the pressure increases, the optic nerve damage, and as a result, then it is responsible to damage the eye. So you have to understand the aqueous humor is important. Then the other part, vitreous humor, is also important. These two parts need to be very healthy, must be healthy. So you have to understand that in that disease, because of the increase of the vasoconstriction and the increase of the pressure inside the eye, and then it damages the optic nerve. So the retina and optic nerves are very important, because retina will translate the eye vision that you see, and it converts into signals into neuron signals or nerve signals that will be transmitted through your optic nerve. And that optic nerve is responsible to connect with your brain, and then you can see the vision that you want to see. So optic nerve is just like, for example, optic fibers. Everybody have the internet, right? The internet is given through optic fibers. Same the function is given is, I think it is inspired from the human eye, that these nerves, optic nerves, is responsible to transmit the signal to your brain, and then if it get damaged, then it affects your eye. So you have to be understand that, some, if that's why some people say, for example, I just tell you one thing, that if, for example, you are sad, maybe you have affected, or you are affected with someone, some personal, some family or whatever, and then, some people said, okay, it's better to cry, it's better to shed the tear. Why? Why we cry? We have mental stress or depression. So people said that it's better to cry. Why? Because if you cry, then it release aqueous humor. It release a tear, and then it helps to reduce the stress. It helps to reduce the stress, especially not only you feel better, your eyes get better. So sometimes, sometimes some people, if you are sad, it's better to cry rather than you keep your emotions and then you keep inside, because if you keep your emotion inside, maybe later on it affects your health as well. So sometimes it's better to cry. But usually in our countries, like we said that usually women are crying and men have very strong emotions. But I don't agree on that. I think if both are equal and both can cry if you are sad. So sometimes if you are stressed or you are depressed, it's better to stay alone and or go to your friends and family that helps you to release your stress and you share your feelings, and then you feel better. So that's why, if you talk about that thing, that cry or tears are very important part of your life. It expresses your emotions, it gives you feel better, and it is also linked to the disease that if person having hypertension, vasoconstriction, then maybe it increases the pressure inside the eye and it can cause damage. So this can be explained in simple words. I'm going to explain in very simple words that what is meaning of this disease. If I'm going to explain you scientific way, maybe you never understand, because I can use the word like hyperplasia. I use the word like, you can see that because of the blood vessels, nerve damage, and then more technical words like pathogenesis and pathophysiology of the disease, hyperplasia, or the cellular damage. So I'm not going to explain with these terminologies because students are not aware of that. But in simple terms, these are the things. The nerve damage is important, and you have to protect your nerves. And the second thing is that blood vessels are very important. The main problem with diabetes is that it affects your blood vessels. Wherever the blood vessels they are, if they are in the eyes, obviously they have been, it affects that. What will be the consequence of the DED? That's more important. Maybe you not understand that the disease, I'm talking so many things, but you look now, view now it right now. Look it now. Left side on the picture, which is the normal picture of the normal healthy eye. And if you see that, if you see the different of visions, for example, if for example the person unable to see, then what will be happen? You can see that they will be affecting your eyes, especially can cause, this is the left side on the normal vision. Then what happened, and after that, you can see there will be blurred view, or there may be the view which is not clear. So you have to understand that diabetic eye disease could be cause blurred vision, it could cause blackout, or it can produce black spots. So for example, when we talk about especially the diabetic eye disease, what are the symptoms if we talk about? So the main symptom in that is, you may have the black spots. If the black spots come out, then it means that it can cause affect. So the main thing you have to understand, the basic thing, the main basic thing, if maybe you are diabetic retinopathy, is that you may not able to see the things that is far from you. If you unable to see the thing that is far from the view, then it maybe because it may affect, it may be initial sign and symptoms for diabetic retinopathy, diabetes eye disease. And later on, if this does not help it out, you don't observe that, then you may see the things as dark or floating spots that you see in this light. And then it will be become more worse with the passage of time. It can cause scarring, or it can be bleeding could be occur inside the eye. Please, you have to understand that is very important, that this is the effect that will be occur with the passage of time. I think your condition right now is like that, right? I think you may be suffer from that. You check on your eyes, and after reading so many things, maybe you are thinking about that. What has happened after that? So many things that you may feeling that, oh, what I do with that? You are maybe so scared of that. So I think you can see that the consequence of ocular hypertension, it leads to bleeding. You can see on the left side that what has happened to the eye with the time, and it can affect so badly. And on the right side, I already mentioned that because of it blocked the canals, these canals are responsible to release the tear, and if it persists, then how it affects, and it increases the pressure. I already discussed with that. I know that the time is running very fast. It's more than 2 hours, but I'm still more than 1 hour, but still I'm going to finish very fast. Next slide is about the development of glaucoma, how it affects us. This is very important, how it affects. If you see that there will be development of glaucoma, if you see this slide and you find it, that how it affects that, you can see the normal eyes, and how it affects us, like the flow of aqueous humor to drainage canal. I already mentioned that what is actually happen in glaucoma is actually there will be the drainage canal that has been damaged, and that damage, I already mentioned that because the flow is not properly, the flow is leaking, and that is responsible that block the water content, and it increase the pressure, and then water will more prevail inside the eye, and then that creates the nerve damage on the right side. We already discussed the thing that I already mentioned before. I think there is some internet connection. I don't know, my vision, my sight has been lost. I'm just trying to reconnect it. I'm trying to reconnect it. If please, team Leo, please check the connectivity, because I don't know why I'm unable to open my thing. My visuals has been lost now. But you can see my slides, but there is some connectivity issue right now. I'm trying to connecting it. Yeah, I'm trying to connecting it. There is a disconnection with my signal. So if maybe you are unable to see my face, it's okay. I'm just going to continue with my slide. So you can see the development of glaucoma is also linked with that, the presence of more water content inside, and then it can cause nerve damage, and it is responsible for that complication. Then the next slide we have, like this is another example of, for example, if person has hypertension and hypertensive eye disease, how the eye looks like. You can see the surrounding layers become whitish, and then it affects your eyes so much. But the next question, which is most important, that what is actually the normal eye level? You have to understand these are the values that is very important. The number one is that whenever you need to calculate the blood glucose level, you need to know the fasting blood glucose level. And if you see the fasting blood glucose level, they are the thing that has been mentioned, the normal, which must be less than 100 milligram per deciliter. Then we have 100 to 125 milligram per deciliter. Then if a person is diabetic, it could be around 126 milligram per deciliter or higher than that. So you have to understand that this is a high ratio content. The second ratios are hemoglobin A1C. This is not about fasting blood glucose, but this is a regular blood glucose level. It is another marker to determine that person is having diabetic are not diabetic. But I suggest you, because there are more students from the other departments, maybe you're unable to understand what are these statistics, so you don't need to go for that. I suggest you to go and see your doctor and ask to check it and see about your health and your blood glucose level and check it. But these are the statistics that you must need to be known that these need to be. But by the way, I want to ask one question from you. That is very important, because the main important thing about hypertension, we are talking about hypertensive retinopathy. Do you know how much water you need to drink? This is my question with you. How much water we need to drink on a daily basis? Let's see that how many people know that answer. Okay, 4 answers, 5 answers, 6. Where are 10 people others? I'm looking the other response. Let's see that how many people are aware of the knowledge that you have. Let's see, waiting for you. Let's test. Don't check from Google. Do not need, please check, please give your, don't check, don't see from the Google. Okay, I got 9, everybody has given the right answer. Very nice. 8, yes, this is the right answer. 8 glasses, approximately, we need to drink around approximately 8 glasses of water. So most of them have given the right answer. So I think, so it means that the people that are looking on these slides, and I think they are well aware of their health and knowledge. So I must appreciate, and I must appreciate that you give the right answer. Clapping for you all, everybody. I think I must give one clap. So that's good. Okay, the next that is linked to that knowledge is about what is a normal blood glucose or blood pressure level. So this is a table I'm going to explain with you. The normal must be less than 120, and there will be 2 levels. One is high number. I know that you're not familiar with systolic or diastolic, but the high number must be less than 120, and the low number must be less than 80. If there is an increase of upper level from 120 to 129, but the low level is normal, that it means your blood pressure is elevated. But in case of hypertension, the both level are high, around 130 to 139, which is stage 1, and it could become stage 2 like 140 to 180. And whereas the lower level become 80 to 89 or 90 to 120. And when patient went to for hypertensive crisis for consult to admit in the hospital, it must be higher than 180 systolic or diastolic 120. So you must be aware of this level, and that's why please went for a normal checkup for blood pressure and blood glucose on a regular basis, at least 3 to 4 times in a year, so that you must be aware of your current status, so that you prepare yourself. So what are the preventive measures? When we talk about preventive measures, we're talking about check your blood glucose level, please avoid smoking, go for your eye dilated test, which is test for to check your eyes in detail. Is there any cloud inside your eye or cotton pool? Because these are the complications lead to diabetic eye diseases. For high cholesterol level, please check your cholesterol level. Go for your healthy exercise and healthy activities. They are very important part. What are the things that you need to avoid? Things, please avoid your junk food like the food and smoking, alcohol. Drink moderate if you want to drink. Please take care of your health in that context. I think, are you among the one? I think this, I am unable to show you that visuals. I put some GIS, but put some memes, but unable to show with you. The screen is not showing, but this is the thing. For ocular hypertensive diseases, what are the precautionary measures? So number 1 is that The hypertension is caused because of the high sodium intake. What is sodium? Sodium, it means the salt intake. So please try to avoid high salt content and try to take it the moderate way, not to take it in much high content. But by the way, what is the ideal salt intake to avoid hypertension? Obviously, you cannot measure it when you're eating it, but usually there is no limit, but the limit is around 1.5, or we can say the 1500 milligram per day. So according to the expert, that 1500 milligram per day is the requirement for the salt intake. So you must need to be well known about that. Avoid to take out high salt, then drink more water. Like I already taken some notes from you that 8 is the standard, because you unable to measure the water content, and that is very important. And then, for example, you please do some yoga or exercises. That is very important for you to have it. This is a slide I already mentioned that you cannot measure how much quantity, but usually mentioned for men and women is different, because I think their body physiology is different from men and women. So it is around for men 3.7 liters of fluid, or for women is 2.7 liters of fluid. The ratios or the rate of them is different because of their different body physiology. So I think what we need now, we need to go and drink water, right? What are the precautionary measures? Go for an eye vision, eye complete test, go for a healthy lifestyle, wear the sunglasses. That is very important. If, for example, you're going to go for any bright sunny day, you are having a bright sunny day, so try to wear the glasses. If, for example, some of my students may be from chemistry department, are you going for chemistry chemicals, please wear the eye cover for experiments and for lab work. And because some of the chemicals are very dangerous for your eyes, so please wear the protective for your eyes, live a healthy lifestyle. And the other thing that my suggestion to you, that for which is very important, if for example you ask me that what will be good for your eyes, especially for eating a healthy diet, number one which I suggest that please take vitamins. Vitamins in the form, not supplement, but in the form of natural vegetables. So vitamin A is the most important for your eyes, right? You have to understand that vitamin A contains like oranges or carrots. Bugs Bunny also like carrots. So vitamin A is usually present in oranges or in carrots, and carrots are actually the main source. And actually, vitamin A is good for your eyes. Then vitamin C is very important. Then you need to take vitamin E, beta carotene, omega-3 fatty acids, zinc. These all are very important for reducing the risk of developing cataract and other eye complications. Vitamin A you can get from the oranges, vegetables, eggs, carrots, sweet potatoes, mango. Whereas vitamin C you can get from the blueberries, blackberries, kiwi, papaya, lemon. It is very important. Then vitamin E is very important from the nuts. From the nuts you can take vitamin E and nut oil, avocado. Avocado is very good, especially if, for example, person is diabetic. Then avocado doctor usually suggest, because the other fruits contain some sugar content. So if, for example, if a patient is already diabetic, for example, in case the patient is now diabetic, you have to be very careful with choosing the fruits as well, because not all fruits you can take, because some of fruits are having high risk of sugar levels. So then maybe you can take some supplements like vitamin A, vitamin C, vitamin E, or we can see, say, beta carotene is present in pumpkin, sweet potato. Omega-3 fatty acids is present in fish like salmon, tuna, sardine, anchovies. You can take them. And then we have zinc, which is very important, very potent, and having multiple functions. You can take from the kidney beans, or you can take from the sunflower seeds, or you can take from the spinach, or you can take from the mushrooms. So these are all important for example, if you're having problems My other tips is that please go for annual eye screening. You must check for comprehensive eye exam for glaucoma and cataract. And this is a dilated eye examination that is responsible to give you good vision. We have some shades. I already mentioned that please protect your eyes because sometimes the sun rays are also responsible for damaging the eyes, especially with UV radiation. So we have different glasses shades like UVA and UVB sunglasses. You can take it, you can put it as your wardrobe, and you can use. Then smoking, I already mentioned, is another thing that is important. Do a regular healthy exercise is another important thing that I suggest that please have around approximately 60 minutes uh, 3 times a week actually, or you have days. Everybody have the different exercise routine, but I suggest that there are different statistics or different reference that is present online, but you start what you want to start. If you don't have the stamina, I will never recommend that to go for very extensive exercise because it makes you more dehydrated. Then maybe you get fatigued very fast. So I think you must start with 15-minute session and then slowly and steadily increase it. Or you can start with the walking, daily walk from 20 to 30 minutes, and then increase the stamina with the passage of time. So these are all my suggestions to you, and that is very important for you to help to give you a good eye and good view. I know I'm taking you a lot of time. We already have, I think, exceeded the time that I already give to you. So I think thank you so much for it, and I will give my mic to the person moderator and to connect with it. I already spent actually more than time that I have, and now my screen is not connecting. I'm trying to connect my visuals, so give me a minute. I'm trying to connect again. Meanwhile, you carry on the event. I'm trying to connect my visuals. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Aslam, for sharing with us. So you guys can hear, we got a lot of information about how to protect our eyes and how to manage them. So you guys, right now, I'm freely let you guys, if you guys have any questions, just freely type it in the chat box right now. Come on guys, if you guys have any questions, freely to put the questions, freely to type in the questions right now.
I'm trying to connect my visuals, so give me 1 minute as well. There is some connectivity issue. I don't know what happened that I'm not connecting my. Okay, it is disconnecting.
Okay, sir, sure. Take your time while we are waiting for others to ask questions.
And our session is 30 minutes left. We also have the notification received that, yeah, because
okay, sir, sure.
we started our event earlier from 7. So that's why we have to be very careful with the time because after 30 minutes it will disconnected automatically.
Okay. So guys, if you guys have any questions right now, I will
And
be
if you have
waiting.
any question, you can send me on my email address. I'm sending you my email address. So you can send me at aslam.siraj@exchange.edu.my, and then you can share with me if we obviously we don't have time much to discuss.
Yes, true. Okay, so if you guys maybe quite shy to type your questions, you guys can directly email Dr. Aslam if you guys have any questions and then like you want to discuss it.
If you want my slides, I'm going to share with you my slides as well. So you can download my slides as well.
Oh, we have one question, Dr. Aslam. It's the question from Brian. It's like, was missing some parts. I wonder what should I do to improve my astigmatism since I constantly stay in front of my laptop for the whole day.
Actually, I understand that it's occurs with the lens, and it's the problem with the lens of the eye, and because of the irregular curve or maybe the change of the direction that is responsible. And uh, the main thing is that the people, if they are mostly they are linked to the history, family disorder, and because of the family disorder, this disease occurs, and it affects your actually cornea, the outer portion. You can say the first view of the eye, because inside there is a lens, and before the lens we have the cornea, and because of the extensive scarring, or sometimes maybe you have the eye surgery, or because of the cataract, it could be possible, and it leads to problems or multiple problems like you have eye irritation as well and difficulty in seeing at night. So you can see that the main thing that we can be treated to, number one would be using the corrective lenses, corrective eyeglasses that we been prescribed by the doctor, or it could be improved. I think sometimes the doctors recommend surgery to do that. For example, the laser surgery. For example, sometimes some doctors use small knife for reshaping the cornea. So you have to see that whether the surgery doctors recommend or not. So this is actually more related to either there is a treatment, but there is no treatment with that. When we talk about the treating with the drugs is not helpful because there is an effect on your eye cornea. Your eye cornea is not in the proper shape. So in that case, I think you need to consult your doctor and ask whether it can be treated with a surgery. If, for example, it could be treated with a surgery, then you can I recommend you to contact your doctor and give you further suggestions.
Okay. Thank you so much, Dr. Aslam.
Because this is
Thank you so
very
much.
important thing that he's pointing out. Because the thing is that maybe this disease is occur because of his family history. I'm not aware whether Brian have, I'm now looking his name. Brian have the problem whether it is inherited, it is either genetic. I'm not aware of that. You can comment me your case history. I'm not aware of your case history. So if it is inherited, still it could be treatable with the surgery. And you mentioned here that since I constantly stay in front of my laptop a whole day, I understand, the problem lies with our people that we are from in the digital era. Like, for example, I'm looking my mobile maybe so many times in a day. So you have to understand that, whenever, for example, using your mobile, your mobile have also an option. Like, for example, in my mobile, there is an option of eye comfort. Maybe I don't know the other mobile, but I have Huawei. I have Huawei. So in Huawei, there is an option of eye comfort. So when you use that eye comfort, it reduces the brightness. So the most important thing is that if you're looking at things with more brighter things, more eye goes inside your eye, it affects your retina. Because the more light go inside, the more may it can cause damage. That's why when we talk about to go to the sun, to the brightness, we must take UV protective glasses so that it will help you to reduce the rays. So the important with the digital devices, it is very important that you can use and you can see, like for example, you use the eye comfort in your mobile, it will help you reduce the brightness. Same like with your laptop. You're talking about you're using laptop constantly. Everybody is using laptop daily. Because you are doing so many assignments. I know German University is very tough for you. You have to do assignment, presentation, classwork, coursework. So you are spending most of the time in your laptop. So I suggest that please reduce the brightness. Always when you reduce the brightness so that you don't need to watch very bright things, and then that will be also helpful for you. For your specific condition, I think you need to see your cornea status with the doctor. What is your current cornea status? And then if you're still having some problem with your astigmatism, then you may be consult your doctor to see whether there is need of any surgery. Sometimes there is no need of surgery, but there is need of some precautionary measures to avoid the bright light, and then to protect your eyes from UV radiation and from other radiation. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much, Dr. Aslam, and thank you so much, Brian, for asking. I hope Dr. Aslam is answering your questions. If you have further discussion, you may directly email him. So next, we will go to the giveaway session, and I will pass the giveaway session to our organizing chairperson, Elisa Ali. Elisa. So as I've explained before, it's like there will be 5 questions that you guys may just answer it by typing the answer in the chat box. And if you will answer it correctly, and each of you will get 40 ringgit.
Okay. Hello guys, can you guys hear me clearly? I need to know that everybody can hear me clearly. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to go in the giveaway session. So I will just ask the question. I will just ask the question, and if you know the answer, just type it. The fastest and the right one will get 40 ringgit for each question. I will contact you after this event. Okay. Okay. So first the question is, what is the normal blood glucose level under fasting?
Come on, guys. If you guys know the answer, type in right now.
Okay, guys, I'll try.
Okay. We have one answer.
Yes,
Two
Geraldine is
answer.
right. Less than 100.
Okay, so congratulations,
I think the
Geraldine.
MC also can join the giveaway.
Okay.
Okay, we are going to the second question. Okay. Okay. How many million of adults in US are at high risk? For serious?
Come on, guys. You guys know.
Why Geraldine again? 61 what? Everyone guys can answer. 61 what? Yes.
Okay,
Yes,
Jaslyn. We have Jaslyn here.
Okay.
Congrats.
Okay. The third, maybe Geraldine and then Jocelyn. Okay, and the third question. What is the main complication of ocular hypertension? What is the main complication of ocular hypertension? Hello. Do you guys want me to type the question? No, it's not written.
We have one here. It's not written now. Sati, Bella is wrong.
What is the main complication of ocular hypertension? Yes. Okay. What is
Can you type?
the main complication? Yes, the answer is glaucoma. Bella is right.
Okay, Bella is right.
The fourth question. Okay. Guys, there is 2 more questions. So this is the fourth one. What are the symptoms of cataract? I think this one is quite easy. What are the symptoms of cataract? Yeah.
We have
type the full answer. Yes, thank you so much, Aditya. Yeah, there is two questions. I think the answer is already right, but you guys need to like write the complete answer. Like this one and this one. Yes. Yeah, Fanny is right. Okay,
Okay, we have
guys.
Fania.
We're going to the the last question. Okay, guys. So I want to repeat like Geraldine, Jaslyn, Bella, Fanny. Okay, the last one.
Fania.
How much water need for a woman? Doctor already said on his slide.
We got here Amanda.
Can you
With
say in
glasses.
a liter? Yes, Geraldine is right.
Geraldine. Yeah, doctor is back.
Wait,
Who is
wait.
the
Suddenly so many message.
first one?
By
Geraldine
cups,
is
but I asked them to answer
answering
by liter.
11. Yeah, right. Liters. If liters, then Bella is the first actually.
Yes, Bella is right. Bella is right. Okay, then two go to Bella. Yeah. Two Bella, one Fanny, Geraldine, and Jesslyn. Okay, congratulations, guys. I will
Congratulations,
transfer you later
guys.
after this event finish. Yes.
Yes. Thank you, OC. So OC will
Yes.
directly contact you guys personally. So don't worry.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for joining the giveaway session.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yes, doctor?
Yes.
Thank you so
Thank you so much,
Oh,
Doctor,
yes, of
for
course.
spending your time here. Thank you for spending your time to give us a talk.
Yes.
Okay.
So guys, it's really sad to say that we have come to the end of online talk show today. So we would like to say thank you so much for Dr. Aslam, who has spent his time sharing with us a lot about take care our eyes. So it's like really important, guys. So take note for that. And then we would like to say thank you also for the Omega Leo Club and also all the committees who have run this event smoothly. And also thank you for choosing me as the MC. And then not forget for all the participants who had joined until the end of this event, we would like to thank you so much, guys. And this event is nothing without the supports from all of you here. So let's not talk too much. I'm Lika. Thank you and see you in further occasion.
Thank you guys for joining.
Thank you guys for joining. Thank you guys.
Bye-bye. Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you so much for your
Thank
time.
you. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Yes, thank you so much. Can have. Bye, guys.
Okay, I think I'm the session here. Bye-bye. Thank you, Salita.
Bye-bye. Thank you, teacher. Thank you all.